All right, guys, got an exhibition game here for you. This is an online matchup that I played here on Next Gen Madden. So we're going to use this as a backdrop just for you guys to have some viewing pleasure, if you will. But before I dive into this video, man, of course, guys, I'm going to remind you to subscribe, cut on your notifications, and hit that like button. All right, now diving into the video, let me start off by saying this. Please listen to the entire video. And that's not a shameless plug or anything like that, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to talk the duration of this video as far as the game. When I'm done with the commentary, I will allow the game, I let the game continue rolling and you guys can watch the full game. But at least listen to all of the commentary, because quite often what happens, man, with YouTube viewership is, people will listen to part of what you said and then they will speculate on what else you're saying, or they'll misconstrue what you're saying, or they will say that you didn't say a certain thing and, come to find out you said it later in the video, but they only listened to a partial part of the video. So listen to the entire commentary. I want you guys to fully understand where I'm going with this and et cetera, et cetera. So let's dive into it. Next Gen Madden, right? We're going to definitely talk about, the elephant in the room, the most polarizing part of Madden Next Gen. We'll get into that because that's basically the meat and potatoes of this video. But let me just say this, this is what I was looking forward to, or at least hoping for with the next gen version of Madden 21. I didn't think it would be a completely different game. A lot of you guys probably remember me saying, I think it's going to be a different experience. I kept standing on that ledge. And for the most part, I think it is in terms of experience. I did not think it would be a totally brand spanking new game where it didn't resemble Madden 21 at all. I just didn't think that. Why didn't I think that? Is because I understand how all of this works as far as game production. You're still talking about the same cycle for the most part. It's just, an extended version, optimized version. I guess it turned out to be exactly what they said, optimized, right? But what I was looking for was I needed to see some new technology or a new foundation. One of the fundamental pieces of the game, I needed to see something new there, because that would let me know kind of the direction you might be going in on this generation of consoles, right? So what I wanted to see was a difference in AI, or a difference in player movement, or a difference in player interaction and physics. Those are usually the things that I look for in Madden or any football game. That's pretty much, the crux of it. How do the players interact? How is the AI? And definitely, the physical aspect of it, as well as player movement. Player movement is one of the most key components. So what did they do with Next Gen Madden? They've introduced, what is called this player movement. Basically, we all know that it's driven by the next gen data. I don't know if I'm saying these initials right, but it's RFID or something like that. You guys know what I'm referring to. Is what they mentioned in the article. Actual data, coming from the actual players. And they've infused that into the game with next gen stats, et cetera, which is basically driving player movement, right? To me, that's a huge thing, because now you're setting a different type of foundation in terms of the way the players move and in terms of their statistics and how they perform based off their statistics. That has huge potential. Now, of course, we have reason to pause. There's always cause to pause when it comes to Madden, because, of course, a lot of us in this community can share this sentiment. The game hasn't reached the potential that we thought it would reach. So you could be optimistic about, an improvement of that nature, but at the same time, you still have to say, well, I'm going to be a little cautious because, history has shown it hasn't always come to fruition, or it hasn't always been fleshed out properly. But to me, I think that's a groundbreaking change. The game feels totally different. And maybe it's something that you have to play. Not all of us are going to agree, with that. And that's fine. And I think that's what you guys have to kind of realize, at least from my standpoint. Everybody's not going to agree. And that's cool with me. I don't care whether you agree with what I'm saying or disagree with what I'm saying. I'm just giving my opinion. I don't get into all the hoopla. I don't get into all of the bickering. I don't get into all of the the name calling, all of that crazy stuff that goes on Twitter. I don't do it. I really don't care about none of that. All I could do is give my opinion, and I'm going to like what I like. I'm going to dislike what I dislike, and that's it. But that brings me to my point. Speaking to the entire community here, there's a real big divide within the Madden community. It's a lot of infighting. When you talk about, guys like myself that, consider themselves simulation players, where we're trying to replicate what happens in the NFL. And you have the, competitive guys, and, I'm just not even talking about the tournament guys, just in general, guys who play on a competitive level. A lot of times you kind of get that type of style in MUT. It is what it is. And then you do have the tournament players, right? But to me, it's too much infighting. We all should be able to agree, or at least be able to see one goal in mind, and that goal should be making a better product. That's something that we all should be able to agree to, right? But quite often what happens, man, is, and I'll even take ownership of this as a sim guy, quite often what happens, there are things that happen in the game that we consider to be sim, whereas it doesn't appear to be a positive gameplay-wise for another audience, and then vice versa. Another audience, will sometimes approach guys like myself and say, oh, if you want a sim game, go play real football outside. And I'm like, okay, this is where it gets crazy. What should always happen in this scenario is we should force, or at least request, that these sports gaming companies try to replicate the actual sport. Whether that's simulation, whether that's competitive, none of that should matter. The only thing they should be trying to achieve is authenticity. That's it. That's all. And that's why I am where I am now, as far as, how I handle this whole Madden thing. I don't care about all of the bickering and the infight. I don't get into none of that. Y'all not gonna really see me doing that. None of that stuff really matters to me. I just want a game to try to push realism and authenticity the best way they can. Here's another thing that's kind of funny is we all have, been on Madden's head for several years, right? Saying that they move at a slow pace, or they don't really do this, they don't really do that. So again, it's come to the point where, you kind of understand the progression and the pace of it. And I think once you realize that, man, it's so much easier to deal with what you're dealing with when you're not expecting but so much to take place. You understand what I'm saying? How can I get disappointed when I'm not expecting overwhelming changes? I'm basically looking at it from a year-to-year standpoint at this point. Like, okay, what did they do this year? Are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? Oh, okay, that was a good thing. Oh, okay, that was a bad thing. Oh, okay, there's still problems in the game that exist. But let me get to my point, man. It's already close to 9 minutes here. Let me get to my point so, for you guys that don't want to watch the full video, you can at least, be out of here in a moment as far as the audio. I want to give a shout out to a couple guys that I definitely respect that, kind of play in the MUT scene. I wouldn't call these guys necessarily competitive guys, because these guys, they also understand real football, right? So I want to give a shout out to guys like Zan, guys like Madden Universe, Relly, but, of Madden Universe, because I respect these guys. And a lot of times I really listen to what they're saying when they say that there's something wrong with the game. I listen to what they have to say, because these are guys that I know that are not just going to be talking out of their head. They're actually going to tell you what's wrong with the game, and it's not from a competitive or sim standpoint. It's more like, okay, this isn't working because of this. This isn't working because of that. So the elephant in the room, guys, has been everyone is, the polarizing thing that's happened is this player movement, and some people love it, some people hate it. A lot of people that play on more of the competitive side, they feel stuck in the mud. They feel like, they can't play user defense the way they once would, in prior versions of the game, or even on last gen. Now we're calling it last gen, but even on Gen 4. And I understand that for the most part. I understand that because that's the way you've played the game. That doesn't make me attack their character. That doesn't make me call them stupid or nothing like that. That's the way they've played the game. So clearly it's going to be a polarizing effect when the game doesn't feel and move the same that it once did. But where I come in terms of where the game is at, I just feel like we should always shoot for authenticity. To me, as far as player movement and all that, we'll all have to adjust. Point blank period. Regardless of what crowd you're in, we all should have to adjust to it. But here's a caveat. I think because of the improved, the attempt for realism in player movement and the real life data and all of that, I think the problem is right now is that the issues that exist in game in terms of coverage or any type of, broken zones or bugs or what have you, it's being exposed more because the way the players are moving, right? So I think people are complaining about the wrong issue. It shouldn't be player movement. Now, again, if you feel like you should be able to cover multiple routes with one guy, listen, that's just a matter of opinion. I'm not going down that road. I'm in favor of more realistic player movement. So it is what it is. I'm not going to side on that side of the fence as far as being like, yeah, well, maybe you should be able to cover. No. If players are moving more realistically, and that is the goal going forward, that's where I'm at with it. That's the side I'm on. It doesn't matter if I agree with someone or disagree with someone, or if they agree with me or disagree. I don't care about any of that. I'm always going to be on the side of how realistic something is. So that's where I'm at with the player movement. I don't want this to be affected, and I don't think that it's as easy to affect it because, it's being driven by real data. So in that regard, I don't think it's as easy to mess up, if you will, like patch it out. But what I just wanted to address, man, on both sides of the coin, let's attack the problems in game in terms of fundamental problems. Like, is there a coverage that's not working because there's a certain check that's not in Madden, or they're jumping the wrong guy? Those type of things. Everybody should be giving feedback on that. Not about whether or not the game shouldn't be authentic or there shouldn't be realism. Like that, I don't understand that. I'm sorry, I don't understand anyone feeling like, oh, this is too realistic. What? It's a sports game. And again, we don't have to agree, but that's just my opinion. A sports game should be as authentic as possible. Any of them. So I'm never going to agree with the person that feels like something is too authentic. I'm sorry, we just never gonna see eye to eye. And that's why my message to the development team and EA corporate, go with your vision. Keep your vision intact. Try to produce football. That's it. Don't cater to my perceived crowd. Don't cater to the casuals. Don't cater to the competitive players. Just make football. Do your best to replicate what football is. And as far as how everybody plays the game, that's up to them to decide the way they want to play. And you'll have to adapt to whatever the changes are. That's simple for me. So that's like I said, man, I just thought I would come out and say that, I haven't talked in a while, and you guys haven't really seen me do a lot of videos because, like I said, I'm over that, man. I mean, there's others on YouTube that do that type of thing. That's just not what I do anymore. I'm gonna provide feedback, and that's it. All of the crazy talk, to me, what does it do? What does it accomplish? Absolutely nothing. So that's where I'm at with it, man. And I just wanted to share those thoughts. Look, like I said, the player movement and what they've attempted to do with the next gen integration, great stuff. great stuff. You know, it's not a finished product by all means. I wouldn't assume that it's a finished product, but I like seeing those type of changes, foundational changes to the game, because then it can allow the game to go other places. We'll see how they follow through year after year. You know, that's still TBD. But that's all I was hoping to see going into next gen. I just didn't want it to be a basic copy and paste. That really would not have sat right with me. All right, so I've talked for almost 16 minutes. I do apologize, guys, but again, like I said, it was necessary, man, for me to come out and just give my thoughts. You know, some people have been asking about it, and that's just where I'm at with it. You know, I don't think player movement is the problem. I think we all are going to have to adjust to the speed of the game and more realistic cuts and movement. But as far as the coverage bugs and things like that, yeah, continue to give that feedback, because now I feel like that the dev team is going to have more work on their hands because of the way the game plays now. You know, because of the way the game currently plays, you know, that's going to require that your coverage and everything and AI is more tight. It's going to have to be more authentic, if you will. You know what I mean? So that's just where I'm at with it. But let me go ahead and get out of here, man. So again, just to remind you guys, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, cut on your notifications, hit that like button. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
After the interception, here's Smith. Pressure comes and the Steelers take him down. And the job becomes twice as difficult now. After the sack, it's 2nd and 20. So 2 quarters down, 2 remain. Charles and I return after the break. And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, set and ready to rock for the 3rd quarter.
Dustin Hopkins to kick off for Washington.
So time for the 2nd half as the Steelers have the lead, and they will also be receiving the football here to start the 3rd quarter. Takes it at the 7. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line.
Steelers take over 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line.
The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. We have not seen much on offense here from either side these last few drives. We've hit a wall, so to speak.
And have hit it hard, haven't we? Because the defenses right now, they seem to be a step ahead, don't they? Beating them to the point of attack, beating them to the punch. These offensive guys, they're tinkering like crazy. What's it going to take to get back on track?
Yeah, both sides searching for adjustments. 2nd and 10 now. It's Roethlisberger. He's going to float this one deep right side. That's caught inside the 20. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Chase Claypool, 70 yards. And the Steelers, they broaden their lead. Quite a show of arm strength right there. That was in the air for a long time, and it was on target, too.
And I'm telling you, nothing will let up a crowd more than a play like that. Here in the stadium, all eyes were on the receiver streaking downfield, and you know everyone was thinking, throw it, he's open. What a connection there for the touchdown.
Fielded in the end zone. And they'll get him down right around the 25, actually the 26 officially, so a net gain of 1 there.
At their own 26-yard line.
Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see.
And looking for McLaurin, but this is intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Avery Williamson. And he brings this one back. It's a pick 6 for a Steeler touchdown.
It goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. That's a ball he would like to have back, and it lands right in the lap of the defender from there. He doesn't have very far to go before he gets to the end zone, and he got there in a hurry.
And his kick is right through.
Steelers 27, Washington 10.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six, and now the kick is away. Taken in the end zone. And he'll be dropped at the 21-yard line, so bringing it out of the end zone proves not a good decision, loses him about 4 yards.
At their own 21-yard line.
Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. And they just had that pick six. I guess the only positive maybe of them returning that for a touchdown. This offense right back out onto the field to try to make up for it.
I like that because now it doesn't give them a chance to go to the bench and really settle, to sit there and kind of seethe over the idea that they turned the ball over previously. Right back out there, it's almost like hopping right back on the bike after falling over. See if they can get the ball moving again.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do it here. 8 yards the tally on that first down run. Here's 2nd and 2. From the gun, here's Smith. He's going to hit his man out of the backfield, complete. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. That one, a first down pickup of 8.
First down.
Out of the gun, Smith. He's got a first down and then some in midfield. And finally taken down at the 35-yard line. 28 yards the gain there on the catch and run. Operating out of Steeler territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Here's a quick hitch route and the throw complete. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down.
In so many ways, throwing the hitch route is actually one of the safer things an offense can do. Get the ball out to the receiver as fast as possible, hope he's got man-to-man coverage, and hope that his athleticism wins on the...
And that is caught. Touchdown, Washington. Dontrell Inman, 26 yards. And Washington able to cut into that deficit. And, partner, they found a gap there on the post pattern, and it was in the middle third of the field.
And that's really difficult to do because ordinarily the safeties are back there to prevent that happening. But they found the opening and exploited it.
So here comes Alex Smith as he'll lead his guys up to the line to go for 2. To the air again, Smith. And no, it falls incomplete. So the 2-point conversion, no good. Popular down near the goal line, quick slant. Nice job there to get in, knock it away.
It was. One of the other things you're concerned about when you throw that route is to make sure your offensive linemen use their leverage to get the hands of the defensive front down so you can throw it through that little bit of crowd and get it to the receiver. In this event, they did, but a nice play by the defender knocking it away.
The Pittsburgh offense at the line to start their next drive. And they were able to punch it in the end zone last time. They'll be looking to do that again here for the defense. Obviously, they'll be looking to stop them from punching it back in the end zone.
It always is punch-counter-punch, isn't it? And which team has the advantage? Well, let's just go back. Last time on offense, they rolled downfield, got into a good rhythm. You can see a little more bounce in and out of the huddle. You can see the sideline really get into the game. So defensively, you're thinking to yourself, how do we take that away from them? How do we get the advantage back? Let's see what they come up with. I think pressure is always the first way to go.
You love pressure.
I love it.
We'll see if they dial it up this drive. On 2nd down, it's Snell. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. That one, a first down pickup of 8.
So many teams want to throw the ball in this situation nowadays, but I love watching a team that has enough confidence to go ahead and run the football in that situation. That's almost a tendency breaker.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. They run the counter. McFarland. He's got a first down and then some at midfield. And he's going to get this into enemy territory at the 45. It'll be a gain of 17 and a Pittsburgh first.
At the 45-yard line.
Under a minute to go in this third quarter as they come up 1st and 10. Now they'll throw it with Roethlisberger. Johnson with a completion over the middle. Taking it way down Broadway. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Deontay Johnson, 45 yards. And the Steelers find a way to stretch their lead. For as big and strong as some of these guys are, especially when you see them in full pads, it is sometimes hard to appreciate how truly fast they can move. That was incredible.
Chris Boswell to kick off for Pittsburgh.
Boswell now to kick it away after the touchdown. Taken about 7 yards deep. And he will be brought down here inside the 20. Good coverage as he's dropped at the 17.
1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line.
Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. On first down, it's Smith. And his throw here's incomplete. Was trying to get it to Terry McLaurin, but it's going to be 2nd down.
So much for the best laid plans and best designed plays. That was good coverage along the sidelines. No place for that one to get in there. It sails incomplete.
Now this one complete downfield on the left side. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. Give him 14 on that one and a first down.
Washington.
Smith on first down. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by the linebacker, Avery Williamson. And it's a big turnover there on the final play of the quarter. Back now in Pittsburgh. It's Steeler football, and they have the lead as well as we begin quarter number 4.